Growth in mortgage lending helped drive an 11% increase in profit for ASB in 2022, despite the slowing housing market. CEO Victoria Short joins me now. And Victoria, growth in home lending of 6%, still pretty good, but obviously slowed from the 12% you saw last year. How much of a concern is that for your business that market is slowing?
Oh, look, I think it's a very natural response to the dynamics that we see at the moment. So obviously we saw a period where we had a lot of house price inflation and a lot of demand for housing. And now with the rising interest rate environment, also the rising cost of living, that's really on people's minds. So it's only natural that the market dynamics have changed. So it is a natural response.
And your loan impairments have increased by 46 million, which is the first time we've seen that in a little while, and a slight increase in arrears, going back to pre-pandemic levels, actually. Are we likely to see a bit more of that, do you think, in the coming year?
Yeah, I wouldn't read too much into our provisioning levels. Our lending has increased. And so when that happens, we naturally accrue a little bit more in terms of our provisioning. And so that's one of the dynamics. And the second part is that we do want to be cautious about the future environment because we do know that at the moment there is a lot of concern with businesses and with our personal customers around the sort of the forward outlook, if you like, for the economy. But I think the key thing is we're not seeing any material signs of stress either from our business customers or our personal customers. And a key factor for that is really that we've been making sure that when we lend into this marketplace that we've always had an eye for a rising interest rate environment back to more normal levels of interest rates.
And of course we saw the triple CFA changes at the end of last year, and that really impacted lending, and now those have been dialed back to a point. How would you characterise the effect they're having now?
Yeah, look, I think it's great that the government has made some small changes to triple CFA, but in general terms, we haven't seen any material impact from those changes. So it really is the way it was when it was first introduced in December.
Business lending's up, which is, that is also a bit of a change in trend. Tell us what's going on in that sector for you at the moment.
Yeah, so we've been quite consistent, and I would say in our business lending, we supported businesses all through the 2000s and 2021 through those COVID periods, and we're continuing to support businesses all the way through. We're seeing very different dynamics in different industries, as you would expect. For example, in our rural sector, they're seeing some great commodity prices. They're using that to really pay down some of their debts. I think that's fantastic in terms of particularly the dairy industry right now. Through to some of our other customers that are seeing really good opportunities in the marketplace. So there is reasonably good demand for business lending.
And on the technology front, you've got a new platform that's coming through for small businesses. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so we're continuing to invest at record levels in the business and have a very big technology program underway. The recent new piece of technology that's gone live for us is a whole new system for our business lending. And we started processing our first loan through that system in June. And ultimately, it's going to save a lot of time for our customers and also for our frontline teams so that, in essence, it's going to make it a lot easier to not just process loans, but to go through things like annual reviews. So all up, it's going to save thousands of hours, both for our customers and our people, which is going to be a great shift.
So is that going to mean like less human eyes on these, the processing of loans?
Yeah, more data, more straight through, more automation. We calculate that we're going to go from using 16 systems that were in use to process a loan down to one. So it's a big change.
Look, another big profit, 1.4 billion odd. What would you say to your critics who would talk about the role of banks and the profits they're making at a time when, the economy is under stress?
Yeah. Look, I guess, one of the things that we can never get away from is that we're a very large business. Our shareholders have got total capital deployed of $10 billion. And of course, it's only natural for shareholders to expect a return. I think it's also really important to know that we've got thousands of Kiwis who are direct investors into those shares. So I think that's really important as well. And then, we are a function of the economy. So as the economy grows, we grow as well. And so you can see at the moment we've got over 120 billion of lending deployed. So we are a big business, and I think the really key thing for us, though, is how we contribute here in New Zealand. We're one of the largest taxpayers. We're one of the largest employers. We support a lot of small businesses in New Zealand. So I think 460 million worth of spend with our New Zealand businesses. So, it's really important that we make a very big contribution.
Victoria Short, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Maria.